Hello friends, welcome to Hospitality and You. In today's session, we are going to discuss Scotch whiskey. In the first part of whiskey series, we discussed various ingredients required to make Scotch whiskey, the link for which has been provided in the description. To get regular update and motivate me to make more videos on alcoholic beverages, you can like, share and subscribe the channel. The very first mention of whiskey being made in Scotland is as late as 1494. The word whiskey is a modification of classical Gaelic word usage, meaning water of life. Distilled alcohol was known in Latin as aqua vitae, that is water of life. The legal designation of Scotch whisky means that it has been distilled at an alcoholic strength by volume of less than 98.4%, so that the distillate has an aroma and taste derived from the raw material used in the method of its production. There are various other definitions to be classified as Scotch whisky as per Scottish government. Whisky producing regions of Scotland can be classified as Lowlands malt are big and soft in body and aroma, perhaps a reflection of the region's gentle terrain. Highland whiskies are as diverse as the area's rugged geography, so it is impossible to characterize a single style. About half of Scotland's single malt distilleries are located in the area around Speyside, and their products are known for delicacy and elegance. Western Highland malts have light exposure to peat and a plummy aroma. Northern Highland malts are smokier and spicier in character. Island malts are from three islands, Islay, Orkney and Skye. They are characterized as intensely smoky with lots of peat reek, which means heavy wood flavor and an alcoholic bite. Distillers near the sea also produce whiskey with a briny, that is salty, flavor or aroma. Laphroaig is among the best known of Islay malt Scotch. Campbelltown malt also features the briny characteristic along with a hint of sweetness. This region contains distilleries that have three stills but stop the distillation process after two and a half. Campbelltown brands are rare since there are only two distilleries where there once were dozens. Further, Scotch whisky can be classified as single malt Scotch whisky. A Scotch whisky distilled at a single distillery from water and malted barley, without the addition of any other cereals and by batch distillation in pot stills. Single grain Scotch whisky. A Scotch whisky distilled at a single distillery from water and malted barley with or without whole grain of other malted or unmalted cereals. That does not comply with the definition of single malt Scotch whisky. Blended Scotch whisky, a blend of one or more single malt Scotch whiskies with one or more single grain Scotch whiskies. Blended malt Scotch whiskies, a blend of single malt Scotch whiskies that have been distilled at more than one distillery. These may be known as vatted malts or pure malts. Blended grain Scotch whisky, a blend of single grain Scotch whiskies that have been distilled at more than one distillery. The process of Scotch whisky is as follows. Malting, which includes steeping, germination and kilning. First we will talk about a very important step, that is steeping. The purpose of steeping is to initiate uniform germination and hydrate the endosperm to a level that is suitable for modification. Steeping conditions must subsequently allow satisfactory development of enzymes without encouraging undue malting losses from respiration and growth. Steeping goes for about 70 to 80 hours, taking the moisture content to 85%. After the process of steeping, respiration is required. It is ventilation during the immersion and air resting period. Both supplies oxygen, which is essential for germination. The next step in malting is germination. The purpose of germination is to maximize fermentable extract by promoting both endosperm modification and the development of amylolytic enzymes. Fermentable extract is almost exclusively derived from the starchy endosperm of the germinated grain. The germinated barley with plumule is known as green malt. The enzyme diastase converts starch into sugar. The next step is kilning. The purpose of kilning is to stop biological activity when the required enzyme levels and degree of modification has been achieved, and to produce a dry, storable product that can be milled to the grist required for mashing. Water evaporates from the malt in an unhindered manner until a moisture content of about 20 to 25% is reached. Due to rise in heat, many chemical changes happen in endosperm. Starch and protein breaks, starch becomes soluble. Kilning has great effect on malt's fermentability. At the final stage of kilning, the moisture comes to 4 to 6%. The kilning in Scotland is done through peat, which is a natural fuel made of decomposed vegetation. Its rich organic content and therefore the aroma it imparts when burning may be moss, seaweed, or wood and heather, depending on where it was harvested. Further in the process, the milling and mashing are done. The purpose of milling and mashing is to create malt grist that will readily mix intimately with water during the mashing process, allowing the desired gelatinization, enzymolysis, and dissolution to take place efficiently as possible. The dried malt in the ground in a mill and grist, as it's now called. Grist is coarsely crushed malted barley, is mixed with hot water in a large circular vessel called as mash tun. The carbohydrate breaks the starch and large degradation product into fermentable sugar such as glucose, maltose, and maltose. The sugary liquid is now called as wort. This is drawn off from the mash tun and the solid remains are removed for use as cattle food. Moving further, we have the process of fermentation. After cooling, the wort is passed into a large vessel holding anything from 9,000 to 45,000 liters of liquid, where it is fermented by the addition of yeast. The living yeast attack the sugar in the wort and convert it into crude alcohol. The fermentation takes about 48 hours and produces a liquid known as wash, containing alcohol of low strength, some unfermentable matter, and certain byproducts of fermentation. The yeast used for fermentation is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. The fermentation liquid is now called alcoholic wash, which goes for the process of distillation. Malt whiskies is distilled twice in large copper pot stills. The liquid wash is heated to a point at which the alcohol becomes vapor, that is 78.5 degrees Celsius. This rises up the still and is passed into the cooling plant where it is condensed into liquid state. The cooling plant may take the form of a coiled copper tube or worm that is kept in continuously running cold water, or it may be another type of condenser. Once the process of distillation is completed, the distillate goes for maturation. A considerable proportion of the production cost of Scotch whisky is due to investment in cooperage oak. The majority of this is in the form of ex-bourbon barrels imported from the USA and to a lesser extent sherry butts imported from Spain. These wooden containers are constructed using the heartwood of several species of white oak that are grown in the forests of North America and Western Europe. Both malt and grain whisky must be matured after distillation has been completed. This allows air to pass and evaporation takes place. By this means, the harsher constituents in the new spirit are removed and it becomes in due course a mellow whisky. Scotch whisky should be matured for a minimum of 3 years. Matured whisky is blended. Blending was pioneered by Andrew Usher in Edinburgh in the early 1816. Prior to this, Scotch whisky only had a limited appeal. It is hypothesized that this was because the unblended malt available at the time were perceived by many as too strongly flavored for everyday consumption. Blending is an art, then science. When creating a new blend, component, malts, and grains are selected that complement and enhance one another's flavors. The skill and knowledge of the blender is critical. So this is all about Scotch whisky. Please attempt the quiz which is in the description, and that will give me an idea uh, about the knowledge that you have gained from the session. Thank you very much.